Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 77th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I'm your host, Kady Kane. Our scheduled guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, had some issues with her vehicle. She is handling it right now with roadside assistance. I didn't want to bother her with trying to get her in here in the last 30 minutes or anything, so we rescheduled her for October 25th. If you guys can please retune in then to catch the interview with Rose City Mischief, talking about her music career, real estate, and sherhyme.com. Um, we're going to catch her again on Concerned Dad's podcast in a few weeks. So I just wanted to let everybody know. We apologize, but these things happen. So it's no big, man. It's no sweat. We had a couple of videos stashed that we were gonna air, but Mitchell was like, "Nah, man, I'm already here at the building. Let's just go live for a little bit." So shout out to Mitchell for doing that, man. Jesse too, man. Um, the next couple of weeks, we have some interesting guests booked for the show. Next Sunday on October 11th, we have B12 speaking about his music mogul career and his new brands, Re-Up and Air Freshener. So he is a really talented producer. He's worked with a lot of Bay Area artists, namely AWAX. I scored a feature through him back in like 2010, so shout out to B12 for that. He's got an extensive music career, so it's going to be an interesting interview. I hope you guys can tune in for that. I got to talk to him for a few minutes yesterday on the horn, and it was really awesome asking him questions. So can't wait to share that experience with my listeners and my viewership because it'll be some cool, man. He's got game. I can't wait to ask him about some of the things he's done. And then the week after that, on October 18th, we have Dr. Daniel Emmett coming on the show to speak about medicinal cannabis and mental health. Um, I've known this guy for about 5 years. I rented a room from him for a couple of months out there in Portland in the Tigard area. He's a really solid cat and talented cultivator. He's got a band going too. I can't remember the name of his band, but yeah, he's a musician also. So meeting him and talking to him was awesome. We became friends, but he's excelled greatly in his regular job and his education. He's a doctor now. I'm pretty sure he's like he works at like a mental health care facility. I think he's like one of the managing doctors at one of those places where, you know, if you're really have issues, then I think that he helps those people out, you know, at the place where they reside, and I think that's awesome. I don't totally know. I'm speculating here. I gotta send him a list of questions before he'll let me interview him. He didn't want to freestyle it at all, so I'm sure there's certain things he can and can't say about his work. So I don't want to say too much, but also the really dope cultivator. He has some train wreck that was fire, man, super fire. And I think he used House and Garden. That was the nutrient line he used, I think. Not super common, you know, not super rare either. But I was like, okay, and he just real scientific methods, and I can't wait to ask him some questions about that. Also, it's been a while since we had some cannabis folks on the show, and sometimes I miss asking those questions, man. I love the entertainment homies too. Don't get me wrong. It's awesome asking them about their careers. But man, just get some weed back in my life, back on the show. You know what I mean? And then again, I said the 25th, we got Rose City Mischief rescheduled for then. So please tune in for that. She's gonna have a bunch of dope things to say about her career path also. And yeah, I think that's probably a good enough update for what we have coming on the show next. I also wanted to take a couple of seconds to talk about Proposition 207 in Arizona. If I have any listeners in AZ, please vote yes on Proposition 207. Like, it allows for home cultivation of 6 plants. I, you know, don't vote yes on rec weed unless it says you can grow your own. Proposition 207 is a rec weed initiative that says you can grow your own, and 6 plants is enough, man, for you and you can also have 12 if there's two. You and your lady can each have 6 plants. So like, there's a whole bunch of good leeway in the language of the bill, and I believe it deserves a yes vote in the state of Arizona. I want to see more states encourage home cultivation, man. I want to see more breeders. You know, I want to see some really dope genetics that are region based, um, to start coming out, man. Because AZ is way fucking different than Oregon is. Even indoors, you're gonna have a completely different set of issues and pests and all this stuff. So I think it's dope to encourage people to learn those things on their own and not have to depend on paying whatever the price is at the store. It's like, nah, dude, you can get your own beans of whatever you like, crack them shits, run them in your tent, and have your own medicine for Christmas. You know what I mean? Give some away to your bros and your family members who maybe don't have the green thumb, and then you can also give them tips when they decide to have a go at it. Such has been my experience in a state where I could cultivate, you know? So I want to share that with other people, and I want to be able to go to Arizona and do the snowbird shit. Have a crib down there, 6 plants, have a crib up here, some plants, and just I think that would be the life, fellas, listeners. That's what I'm shooting for. So anybody from the state of Arizona who's listening right now, please vote yes on Proposition 207. And then also, I wanted to say, if you live in the state of Idaho, um, please vote for Paulette Jordan. I think she's Democrat. She's on that ticket. I can't hate, but she is indigenous. She's a Coeur d'Alene tribal member, and I think she's about that life. You know what I mean? I think we need someone like her in that building. Just not just for the way it looks, but just because she'll say stuff when stuff needs to be said. And I think she deserves your vote too. Not to get super political on everybody, that's my two things, man. Vote yes on Prop 207 if you're in AZ, and vote for Paulette Jordan if you're in Idaho. So that's I guess that's my encouragement, I guess, in my update for today. I also wanted to mention some of the other things that I've been working on. I got to go to True Justice's crib on Friday night and sit in on the Beers, Bongs, and Bullshit podcast. It was a good time. It's always a good time hanging out with those fellas. And their guest on the night, his name was John Risky Bolts. You can follow him on YouTube or Facebook. He made a full-length movie called Door to Door. It's a comedy movie. It's about selling products door to door to make money for weed and rent. I'm sure a lot of my listeners can relate. Hey. So I think it's worth a watch. If you're on YouTube, please check out his channel and figure it out. It's like an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes long, which I think is super impressive. I'm still doing short films with my buddy Ryan Craig, so it's impressive to me when someone does that amount of work and is able to not only write it but produce it, shoot it, edit it, and then release it. And I got to ask him a few questions when I was there. He was a pretty good interview, funny guy. And not just making movies, but making documentary stuff too. Destination X was his other YouTube channel, so if you guys can go and check that out, it's pretty cool. It was dope to sit in and awesome to see another guy making films from my region and doing it independently, totally. So shout out to John Risky Bolts. Shout out to TJ On One and Big P for letting me sit in on Friday night. It was a good time. And anybody, if you guys haven't heard their show, please check it out. It's called Beers, Bongs, and Bullshit Podcast. I believe they're on Spotify. They're going to be on YouTube soon, very soon. So please stay tuned for those guys. You can follow them online on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But yeah, awesome show from those guys. And also, I listened to an episode they had with John M.F. Ward. I think it was episode 17 or 18. This kid John MF Ward is a singer songwriter, dude. The songs they played on the show from him were dope. Like I was super impressed and seemed like a cool kid. So if anybody is into other podcasts besides ours, man, check those guys out. Beers, bongs, and bullshit. Their intro song super catchy too. I like hanging out with those fellas, man. They got a good show. They got a good thing going on over there in North Spokane, man. Um, some of the other things I've been working on, I'm gonna do another short film with my buddy Ryan Craig at the end of this month out there in Yakima. I don't want to share too much about the details. It's like I'd rather do the work and show it to you guys after the fact. But I'm gearing up for that. Trying to practice and cast and coordinate, and it's been difficult at times, but I feel like we have a solid cast together now, and everybody's committed to their dates. So we just gotta show up and do the work. So I'm excited about that. Um, and then music wise, I still rock with my guys in Lewiston Anti Slayer. Shout out to those fellas. We're gonna put out some singles and probably an EP within the next 6 months. So I get to float that music boat too. Um, and that yeah, that's I guess that's my update on what I've been working on. As far as the news, I think I don't really fucking pay attention anymore because it's all fucking propaganda. But I know that there are initiatives on ballots in states that I've lived before that I would like people to vote yes on. And so that was all I wanted to mention about that. My guys in production, do you guys have anything to add, Mitchell? Is there anything else that you guys feel I should talk about? I feel like that's like a 10-minute update there. I don't want to sit here and keep fumbling and saying I'm trying to come up with anything else I could share. Um, so yeah, who else? Oh yeah, vocab. I wanted to say if vocab's listening, he had I think he had to had some kind of, he had to get something at the doctor. So I hope he's okay. I hope he's healing up. And if you guys didn't check out his episode, go check it out. And if you haven't checked out his podcast, go check it out. It's called the Broken Glass Podcast. You can hit him up at brokenglasspodcast.com. Like he's super dope, super talented. I think you guys would like his show too. Is there anybody listening right? It says have viewers suggest people. Is anybody listening right now? Do you guys have suggestions on anything you guys would like us to talk about, or as far as guests that you'd like to see us interview? Okay, it's in the comments on YouTube. Can you guys type that and anything in there for me? Um, Shoot, I guess I could open that up on my tablet here. Yeah. Um, I don't see any comments in there, fellas. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My bad, Mitchell. I'm a dummy. Like. I wanted to let anyone know, if you're listening and you're tuning in on the YouTube or anywhere else, please leave a comment, like and subscribe. And if you really dig what we're interviewing the person about or the storytelling, then click share. It really helps us out to be seen and be heard when you guys like, subscribe, and share, and comments too, man. More people will check it out if you're saying something about it in the comments. So, and anybody listening, please do that, especially if you're digging the show. And you can also tune in to our social media, Twitter, IG, Facebook, Snap, Concerned Dabs Podcast. It should be all one word. Maybe just Concerned Dabs on Snap because they don't like the long names or something. But yeah, that's hit us up. And then our website also, we have all our episodes there. Concerned Dabs Podcast CONCERNDABSPODCAST.com. That's pretty much all I wanted to say to you guys. Apologize for not having a guest. These things happen. We will be back next week with B12. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my outro dance. This was the 77th episode of Concerned Dads Podcast. I was your host, Kady Kane. Our guest is rescheduled for October 25th. Rose City Mischief. Please tune in for that. It's going to be a dope show. Next week, tune in for B12. Going to be a dope show. I got to give a shout out to my guys in production, Mitchell Wilson and Jesse Curry. This has been a Main Node and Joseph Street Enterprise production.